Welcome to the Darkstream. Voxday, voxday.blogspot.com, and of course, Arkhaven Comics. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. This is my belated announcement of a crowdfunding campaign that we are doing on behalf of a military veteran who was had his publishing arrangements disrupted by SJWs. It's not a project that we had intended to pursue. We're extremely busy working on Arkhaven, working on Alt Hero, working on Avalon, and all these other projects. But John Delarose got in touch with me, said, "Hey, this is a good guy. Is there something we can do?" And so I said, "Well, let me think about it." So I talked to a few folks, got some advice from a few folks, and talked to some of the Castelia authors, talked to Peter Grant, talked to Nick Cole, talked to who else was there? Actually, I didn't talk to them, but both Rolf Nelson and Kai Chia came forward. Speaking of Kai Chia, by the way, we're going to be releasing his new book, the sequel to No Gods, Only Daemons, which is called Hammer of the Witches, very soon. And it's going to be really good. It is really good. So, anyhow, it went really well. We ended up, or you guys really ended up funding the base goal at within 149 minutes, which, considering that we didn't do a video, that we didn't do anything except for an announcement on the blog and on the Arkhaven Twitter account, that's phenomenal. And it really sent a strong message, and I can tell you that people are hearing it and people are understanding the significance of it, because I'm hearing from various industry artists who really want to work with us now. And apparently, I don't know, but apparently the SJWs are very unhappy about this, because what they're realizing is that their threats of disemploying people are becoming toothless. If it is better for somebody to work with Arkhaven than work with any of the SJWs except for Marvel and DC, they completely lose the perception of power that they had, because we're not going to change our characters to suit them. Quite the opposite. Quite the contrary. And so, that's the real significance of this, is that it is illustrative of the way that things are changing. And they're not going to completely change overnight, and it's going to take a while. I had some very good news today as well. I got a phone call from the printer, and they printed our first test samples of the Quantum Mortis comic, which is the first comic book that's going to come out. Actually, it may be the second. The P.G. Woodhouse may actually be the first one to make it to print. Regardless, he just called me up to say that the exact words he used were fantastic and outstanding in terms of the quality. He said it's better than most of the graphic novels that we have in the warehouse here. So this is very encouraging. It's a new format. It's a little bit smaller than the traditional comic size, but it is a true, proper trade paperback cover with real paper and this high quality new type of color printing. So I haven't seen it yet myself. They popped one in the mail to me, so I should have it soon. When I get one, I'll do another Darkstream and show it to you guys, so you can see that we're actually getting to this point. Anyhow, I really appreciate the strong level of support that you guys are showing for the U.S. military, for the veterans. I really appreciate the support that everybody who was involved in the project showed. Chuck Dixon volunteering his valuable scripting time. The colorists who have come forward and offered severely discounted rates for this particular project to help out. The authors, all the authors who came forward and said, hey, here's my rights, go ahead and use them. No charges for any of it. It's really remarkable what we can do together. Also, the generosity of some of the guys on social media. I sent out an email to Cernovich, to Jack Posobiec, and to Stefan Molyneux, and boom. I'm not on Twitter anymore, and they know it, but they stepped in the gap and got it out there. And of course, all of this goes back to John Delarose, who came up with the idea in the first place and pushed me to do it in the first place. I also need to point out Raleigh Nyanze, who's not a Castelia author, but he had contacted me and said, hey, I'd actually wanted to help this guy, but then when I saw you were stepping in, I figured, I'll let Vox take care of it. But he said, would you mind that if you offer my book as well? I said, hey, absolutely. So, we have good people on our side. We have the ability to step in and do these things, and sometimes all it takes is just a willingness to lend your name to something. We're gonna publish this stuff when it's done, but other than that, all we're doing is facilitating what all you guys are doing together. And to me, that's a really important thing, because there's so many SJWs, and they've destroyed so many organizations, they've destroyed so many communities, but they can't destroy ours, because ours is decentralized and ad hoc, and there's nowhere for them to go. There's nowhere for them to target. So I think the whole thing is it's a very positive development. In some ways, it's actually more significant than Alt Hero. It's not going to be as big a Kickstarter, free starter as Alt Hero. And I also got to thank the free starter guys. They actually cut their fees a bit just because they wanted to participate and contribute. So, this is the way to make a difference. Small steps, building institutions, building connections, strengthening relationships. That's how you do it. And so, anyhow, I got a couple minutes, so if anybody's got any questions, go ahead and fire away. I'm not sure if I'll actually see them. Every now and then the question stuff seems to disappear. So, but you can give it a try if you want. There we go. Is this an example of anti-fragility? Not really. It's an example of making people less fragile. It's not really true anti-fragility, but it is a step in the right direction away from fragility. And of course, the more this happens and the more the impotence of the SJW threat is demonstrated, the less people are going to give in to them, and the less people are going to suffer from being swarmed by them. Excuse me, kind of kicking a cough here. Do you think they will double down again or not? Yeah, of course they'll double down. They're going to keep doing this for a while. Is the Charles Tingle Facebook account yours? I've learned not to answer those questions. I can tell you that the Arkhaven Comics account is not mine. It belongs to Arkhaven. I do not tweet on it. I do not access it from my machine. But that is, you should consider following Arkhaven Comics if you want to get news. The Alt Hero page on Facebook is another good one. I have no idea what Stefan will do or have on there. Voxday working on it. I need to kick this cough and be able to talk before I can finish the video. The Voxday is not on hold. We're working on it. Voxday is one of my main focuses. I've been under the weather for about 2.5 weeks. So, Voxday backer bonuses. Yeah, I gotta get on those. No response from the big two about Arkhaven. I mean, we haven't had success yet. Not real success. We actually got some stuff on the website today from the guy who's working on that. I've learned not to offer release dates, but the stuff. All I can tell you is the stuff is happening, and we're going to be delivering stuff. In most cases, I'm pretty sure it'll exceed your expectations. I mean, if you haven't seen it, for example, take a look at the cover for the first Alt Hero issue that is posted at the bottom of the campaign for Will Callaghan. I guarantee you that nobody was expecting covers that good, and all of our covers are going to be that good. The authors were extremely excited about the possibility of graphic novel adaptations. They have brought it up, some of them. We have a lot of things that will be, a lot of projects that we'll be announcing over the coming year. You can expect to see more Kickstarters, probably not this type of Kickstarter, but you can expect to see more Kickstarters for some of our, for other graphic novel projects. The reason is because it's a very good way for us to decide what to do. If we do a Kickstarter and nobody's interested in it, then we know not to do it. We know not to waste our time and resources on stuff that you guys don't want. And so I'm using the term Kickstarter with a small k. It's like Xerox. Favorite type of dogs, number 1, Vizsla, number 2, Rhodesian Ridgeback. I also like Brittany Spaniels. And Huskies. I like Huskies. So, no, I understand and I regret that I'm not always able to get stuff done as quickly as I would like. I'm increasingly learning not to try to put dates on things just because too often I can't hit them. But, as a general rule, it does get done, and it does get done usually better than people expect. So, I'd rather have something delivered that is high quality than on time. Had to learn that the hard way. So, anyhow, that's all I have. Nothing new on the storm. But thanks again for supporting Will Callaghan's comic. If you haven't supported it yet, I'd encourage you to take a look at the project. I think we can genuinely say this is a worthy cause. But judge for yourself. The links to the story and so forth are there. And I'll definitely be doing at least dark streams in the next 2 weeks. So beyond that, I don't know. In any event, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon.